Yeah, it's because he's white. It's because he's white. It's because he's white. Let's not play these games. Let's not dance around it. It's because Bucky's white and Sam is black. Not every person who feels this way about Sam Wilson being Captain America over Bucky feels that way because he's black. But when people like this make videos about it, it's because he's black. They'll try to talk around it. They'll try to save themselves at the end by saying, oh, Sam Wilson's race doesn't make him a better or worse Captain America, and Bucky's race doesn't make him a better or worse Captain America. But when talking about why Sam doesn't fit as Captain America, she basically says, yeah, it's because Sam's story is all about race.
What they had to do in Falcon and Winter Soldier is give him problems and give him an entirely new character in order to give him some kind of story. And the new character they chose to give him was all about race. It was all about racial baggage and how he was concerned about how he would be perceived as Captain America and whether or not he would even be accepted as that.
Okay, so I don't know if she hears it or not, but implying that Sam's race and being concerned about his race is a problem they gave him, like it's a fucking DLC pack or something, is objectively insane. The fact that it took this long for the MCU to do anything with the idea that outside of Wakanda, Sam is one of two black heroes doing anything in the MCU is not a problem. It only is if, and the reason why Sam's story in Falcon and the Winter Soldier is about race and centers around that as it relates to him being Captain America is because, I don't know if you know this, there's literally never been a black Captain America in the MCU. That's the story. That's what this whole thing is about. And bringing that up to suggest that there isn't a story is also objectively insane. Speaking of story, that's one of her other big things. Bucky would be a better Captain America because there's more story potential with him as that versus Sam.
Say that Bucky Barnes, having all this baggage means that he's not a candidate to be Captain America, except that is the very thing that makes him a good character to become Captain America. The concept of him becoming Captain America inherently has conflict in it, and that means that there is story potential.
We literally just talked about that. Go back to it.
He was concerned about how he would be perceived as Captain America and whether or not he would even be accepted as that.
So what I think is more accurate to what she is saying here is it's not that Sam doesn't have storytelling potential as Captain America. She details the story of Sam as Captain America. It's that Bucky's story of becoming Captain America is a better story because it's not racialized and it's not political. It's just a normal story of a white boy who did some bad shit and is looking for redemption. And in the eyes of people like JesterBell, I can't imagine why, that will always be a more interesting story to tell over a story that asks you to empathize with people of color. You know what? That's totally fair, because who the hell is going into a Captain America story expecting to hear about politics? Now, I know she started off pretty rocky and on shaky ground and not having any good points whatsoever, but she does make sure to finish strong with a tried and true grifter tactic. Misunderstanding something from the source material in an attempt to perpetuate a stupid culture war narrative.
I want to say this kind of stunt casting that it's pretty obvious that Disney partook in, it's not something that even the character of Sam Wilson from the comics would agree with. There's this old panel from Captain America comics where they even bring up the idea of quota filling and stunt casting, and Sam Wilson speaks out against it. It apparently was something that even some decades ago they weren't all for, and they didn't see as a good thing.
So as I said, this is a very common tactic. JesterBell has used this in the past in another video to justify the hatred of minorities being put front and center in some of these movies, and every time it's used, it's wrong. It's really wrong. Because yes, while this comic does show Sam pushing back against the idea of being a token for the Avengers, taking what's happening here and applying it to what's being done in the MCU is dishonest as hell. The specific context around this is that the government explicitly wants Sam on the Avengers because he's black. That is not why Steve chose Sam to replace him. That is a narrative being put on what happened by outside agitators who just don't like the fact that Captain America isn't white anymore. Because ultimately, what it's about for people like JesterBell and so many other people who don't like Sam Wilson as Captain America and would have much preferred Bucky as Captain America, but not because of race, definitely not because of race, is that it's just insane any story would choose to center or focus on a person of color, a queer person, anyone from a marginalized identity over that of a white man.